Hello children, so in today's class I am taking lesson 2 from your book, that is The Gift of Chappals, written by Vasant Surya. In this lesson we will see several key points, that is family meeting of Mridu, Ravi, Meena and Rukmani, introducing the Chappals around which the whole lesson lingered, the children's love for animals, brother-sister behavior, and last, the impact of the elders of the house and children. Before we start, let's see the summary. Ritu goes to Rukmani's house where she sees a pair of slippers, long, covered with dust, mark of every toe on the front part of each slipper. Ravi drags her to the backyard. There they have hidden a kitten. Ravi has to bring milk for the kitten with very difficulty. They discusses that the elder always says to be kind with animal, and if they become, they screams. They name the kitten Mahendran. Mridu is a young girl growing up in Madras, now called Chennai, with Tapi, her grandmother, and Tata, her grandfather. One afternoon, Tapi takes Mridu to her aunt Rukmani's house to meet her cousins Lalli, Ravi, and Meena. A smiling Rukmani threw open the door, and Ravi pulled Mridu into the house, but she protested. "We have got to show you something. Wait, let me take off my slippers." She set them out neatly near a pair of large black ones. Those were grey, actually with dust. You could see the clear mark of every toe on the front part of each slipper. The marks for the two big toes were long and scrawny. Mridu didn't have much time to wonder about whose slippers they were, because Ravi dragged her to the background, behind a thick bitterberry bush. There inside a torn football lined with sacking and filled with sand lay a very small kitten, lapping up milk from a coconut half shell. "We found him outside the gate this morning," said Ravi. "He was mewing and mewing, poor thing." "It's a secret. Amma says Pate will leave for our Puddu Mama's house if she knows we have a cat. People are always telling us to be kind to animals, but when we are, they scream, 'Oh, don't bring that dirty creature here,' says Ravi. Do you know how hard it is just to get a little milk from the kitchen? Pati saw me with a glass in my hand just now. I told her I am very hungry, I want to drink it. But the way she looked at me, I had to drink most of it to throw her off the scent. Then she wanted the tumbler back. 'Pati, Pati, I'll wash it myself. Why should I put you to trouble?' I told her. I had to run and pour the milk into this coconut shell and then run back and wash the tumbler and put it back before she got really suspicious. Now we have to think of some other way to feed Mahendran." "Mahendran? This little kitty's name is Mahendran? I'm impressed. It's a real name, not just a cute kitty name." Actually, his full name is Mahendravarman Pallava Punnai, MP Punnai for short, if you like. He is a fine breed of cat. Just look at his fur, like a lion's mane. And you know what the emblem of the ancient Pallava kings was? Don't you? Think I'm joking. Well, just wait. I'll show you sometime. It's clear you don't know a thing about history. Haven't been to Mahabalipuram? Have you? Ravi looked expectantly at Mridu, but Mridu couldn't help giggling. "Well, when our class went to Mahabalipuram, I saw a statue of his Tathas, etc., etc. Fact is, Mahendran here is descendant from that very same ancient cat, a close relative, scientifically speaking, of none other than the lion, the Pallava lion, emblem of the Pallava dynasty." And then Ravi went on, walking around the bitterberry bush, waving a twig up and down, his eyes sparkling. "This cat is a descendant of none other than the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. And if I may just remind you, they worshipped cats in ancient Egypt." Mridu, how he loves the sound of his own voice. What does that have to do with anything? Ravi, I'm telling you, this cat is descendant from the Egyptian cat god. No, goddess. Pestate. Yeah, that's it. Well, one of the descendants of that cat goddess was a stowaway in one of the Pallava ships, and his descendant was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat, whose descendant is MP Punnai. Here, whoop, screech, screech. Ravi shrieked, very pleased with himself. Mahendram looked up, alarmed. He had just been sharpening his claws on the edge of the coconut shell. But worse than Ravi's awful whoop was a screech from the window. What a weird sound! And if Mridu was started, MP Pune was frightened out of his wits. Hair standing on end, he bounced up and screamed towards a bamboo tray of red chilies that had been set out to dry, trying to hide beneath it. He tipped a few chilies over himself. Meow! He howled miserably, but the screeching went on and on. What's that awful noise? Says Mridu. That's Lali learning to play the violin. She'll never learn a thing. The music master just goes on playing like a train, whizzing on and on, while Lali's all the time derailing, going completely off track. While Mridu crept up to the window, and so did the rest. Lali was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure of the music master. He had a mostly bald head with a fringe of oil black hair falling around his ears, and an old-fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck, and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold-bordered waistee edge, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. He played a few notes. Lully stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless and unhappy in her hands. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of the train, fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along, as Ravi said. Mridu stared at that huge Birinj hand moving effortlessly above the violin stem. Moving lovely music. Squawk! There was Lully derailing again, says Ravi. Listen, there's something waiting from the gate. Amma! Amma! Ravi sent that beggar away. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time he found another house to beg from. Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze while he waited for the arms to appear. Ravi spoke to him sternly. Go away! My party says it's time you found another house to beg from. The ladies of this house are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generosity for a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. Sad his wail might be, but it certainly wasn't feeble. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth, with its few remaining teeth stained brown with beetle chewing. Amma! Amma! Oh! Ravi, tell him there's nothing left in the kitchen and he's not to come again. Tell him that. Ravi didn't have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There under the neem tree, the beggar sat up and sighed. I'll go, but I'm weary. So only let me have a rest here under this tree. The sun is so hot. The tar has melted on the road. My feet are already blistered. He stretched out his feet to show large, pink peeling blisters on the soles of his bare feet. I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals. Have you got an old pair somewhere in the house? Says Mridu. I don't know. Ours are too small to fit his feet, or we'd have given them to him, says Ravi. The beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti. He raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road, gleaming in the afternoon heat. He needs something on his feet. It's not fair. Mridu spoke in a voice choked with feeling, her big eyes filling. Shh! I'm thinking about it. Blubbering. It's not fair. It's not fair. Isn't going to help. In 2 minutes, he'll be frying his feet on the road. What he needs is a pair of chappals. So where do we get them? Come, let's search the house, says Ravi. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the old-looking chappals she had noticed when she arrived. Ravi, whose are those? These are just the right size, says Mridu. Ravi turned and glanced at the shabby-looking but sturdy old slippers. He beamed and nodded. Mridu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. Here, wear these and don't come back. The beggar stared at the slippers, hurriedly flung his towel over his shoulder, pushed his feet into them and left, muttering a blessing to the children. In a minute, he had vanished around the corner of the street. The music master came out of the house and took an appreciative look at the three of them, sitting quietly under the tree, playing marbles. The music master searched for his chappals in the veranda, where he had put them. Lalli, have you seen my chappals, my dear? I remember having kept them here. Let's search every corner of the veranda. He screwed around, looking over the railing and crouching near the flower pots to look between them. Brand new they were. I went all the way to Mount Road to buy them. They cost a whole month's fees, do you know? Says music master. Soon Lalli went in to tell her mother. Rukmani appeared, looking harassed, with Party following her. Where could they be? It's really quite upsetting to think someone might have stolen them. Party. So many vendors come to the door. Have you children seen anyone lurking around the veranda? Rukmani caught sight of Ravi, Mridu, and Meena sitting under the tree and saw that they were curiously quiet. A sharp V-shaped line had formed between her eyebrows. Another straight, tighter one appeared in place of her usually soft, pleasant mouth. Rukmani was angry, thought Mridu with a shiver. She wouldn't be so upset if she knew about the poor beggar with sores on his feet. Rukmani, there was a beggar here. Poor thing, he had such boils on his feet. So, you gave the music master's chappals to that old beggar who turns up here? Children, these days, Patti says. Amma, didn't you tell me about Karna who gave away everything he had, even his gold earrings, as he was so kind and generous? Rukmani snapped. Silly! Karna didn't give away other people's things. He only gave away his own. Ravi rushed brashly on. But my chappals wouldn't have fitted the beggar's feet. And Amma, if they did fit, would you really not have minded? How dare you speak to me like that? Go inside this minute, right now, says Rukmani. These should fit you, sir. Please put these. I am so sorry. My son has been very naughty. Rukmani hurriedly indoors and brought out Gopu's mamma's hardly worn new chappals. Well, I suppose this will have to do. The music master's eyes lit up. He put the new chappals on, trying not to look too happy. These days, children have no respect for elders. What to do? A Hanuman incarnate. Only Ram can save such a naughty fellow. Rukmani's eyes flashed. She didn't seem to like Ravi being called a monkey. even a holy monkey. She stood still and straight by the front door. It was clear she wanted him to leave quickly. When he had clattered off in his new chappals, she spoke to the children. Mridu, come in and have some tiffin. Honestly, how do you children think of such thing? Thank God, your Gobu Mama doesn't wear his chappals to work, says Rukmani. And she walked towards the kitchen with Mridu and Meena. She suddenly began to laugh. But he always in such a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and get into his chappals as soon as he comes back, says Rukmani. What's your mama going to say this evening when I tell him I gave his chappals to the music master?